Yes, I'm asking for you to finish.
I have similar concerns. Are you on the same item?
Yes, Your Worship.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Me and my people in Ward 29 wrote a proposal for the construction of poles. But I'm surprised here on this report, Your Worship.
Servicing of tower lights.
It's written servicing of tower lights and surface dust roads between houses. We never ask for such things, Your Worship. My people rather walk in the dark, but they need to water, Your Worship. So whoever did this, Your Worship, please, he needs to be cautioned, Your Worship. Because Ward 29, they spend about 2-3 weeks without water, Your Worship. They don't care about walking in the dark, but what they need is water. So please, this report, Your Worship, should be scrutinized further and take this back. We don't want this. Thank you.
Are you on the same item?
Yeah, I think a quick solution to the issues of one addition. We don't want it to continue to be a cell which we are yesing and we've never gone to speak to the recording. Let's have a round table discussion about this subject. It's very critical. I mean, it's quite embarrassing to continue discussing on the same subject over and over again. Let's find a separate day where we sit down over this thing so that all policymakers understand what is happening. Or that's why you are seeing people querying that there was 27,000, there was this. They need also to understand that maybe those things, like myself at one point in time, I queried why has this man gone to? They said no, we did a swimming pool. But that was during the era of the previous councillor. So we need to understand and have a report, right? Whether it's come from the chamber secretary or from Mubavumo, to understand, no, guys, there's projects that are at this stage. This is what is happening. Management, you must prepare a comprehensive report, word by word, right? So that we have got a 2-hour or 3-hour discussion together here. So that this subject, please, it's embarrassing for this subject to continue being discussed in this house. I hope it will be looked into as a matter of urgency.
Thank you, Councillor. I think rather than prolong this, I think all of us have concerns. We've got many items, so unless, Councillor, you've got a new aspect to complain about. Have you?
Ithethe isebenzisa toilets construction the floodlights lithunyomba ngilayo report from previous councillor wayese over take off wangitshela ukuthi ama projects akulayini yilawo but you guys badala liyenze ama projects angaso priority whatever. Chamber Secretary, akula paper ka wa 10 office ni yakho ifuna project if I can recall. Disendleleni khona libuye. But lo ngicela imali ethu libisele. Ngiyayicela libisele le lisebenzela sizanika ama projects ngiyabona.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor. I think you're just reinforcing Chair. But no, before I call on you, Chair, is there any other debate regarding any other issue? Chairman, would you respond, please?
Okay, thank you very much, Your Worship. As the committee also raised the issues concerning the water retention, because we thought that the report wasn't comprehensive and it didn't get much attention. So it's going to be corrected, and I would like to inform the House that the report for water retention in the coming council is going to be under Department of Engineering. As finance, we are only supposed to be dispersing funds. So engineering is going to house that report. I think the concerns have been noted, and the Director of Engineering was also present in the meeting where finance made deliberations on this report. Thank you.
Report is moved. Chairman of Audit. The Special Audit Committee. I have. Please move your report. Is it seconded? Thank you. Is there any debate?
Seconded.
Any debate?
No.
Move that report. Right, we have cleared what is on our list, but we now move to the glass block issue, which has been circulated to us all.
The chair should move.
Chair, would you please move that?
Move that report to you.
Chair of Future Water, would you please move this?
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the glass block dam report to be discussed in this.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Thank you. Right, debate. We have had some debate.
Move.
Do we want to move it?
Yes.
There is debate. I've got a live debate. Councillor.
Yabonga Senate, Your Worship. Lisithumile ukuthi sihambe kuma-ward siyenxusa abantu sikhulume labo ngendaba ye-glass block. Uma ngikhangela i-chart le ambona ukuthi siyenzile umsebenzi abantu bazwisisile kumbe batsheliwe nge-glass block le, because nxa ngikhangela i-chart there is a ward okubuya abantu abayi-8, iward labantu abayi-8,000, labantu abayi-9, iward ebuye abantu abayi-9, iward labantu abayi-8,000. And then usukhangela enye iward iyekwenza i-meeting kwenye iward okule 20 kilometers away from its ward. Are we doing justice kubulawa yini esithi siyamthanda? Siyenza okuhle yini sibatshelile yini? Because nxa lapha ama-councillors ngathiwa sihambeni sekhulu kumbe sikhuluma ngama-feedback, ama-pictures siyawona, the wall will be full. Kanti lapha sizama ukuthini, sizama ukuqambela ubulawayo amanga yini kumbe sinatha labangani bethu sathi sihambeni sekwenza okuyi-meeting. Siqambela lapha sikhuluma ngamanzi. Ama-residents, mina ayethi 209 le iyakhava about 15 wards la ngama-numbers. Iwakhave ubulawayo iphosa umbambe. Babuya bakhuluma izikhalazo zabo. Kunezikhalazo eziqinisekileyo ezinye la batshelwa la bebeyabuza becasiselwe sikhulumeni silungise idamu siyalifunela amanzi, but asikuyenzeni ngoba kusasa kuzasihlupha. Right now we are crying a-TTI. Abadala bathi asikuzwanga ayizange ibenyezelwe yayenzwa kathesi abantu bayakhala lapha etown, kuyakhalwa kubulawa, even ama-councillors liyamhlupha Melisa sengiklentshiwe. Bathi sakuvuma sayehlula ukuthi simende amanye eminye imithetho yethu esiyifaka khona phana. Isicelani sibuyeleni siyetshela abantu singaqambela abantu amanga. I don't want to be in a council ukuthi khona yibo i-council le yasilethela izinto ezingacacile. Kulembuzo efunakalayo lapha ama-councillors esithi khona from 8,000 umuntu ubuye labantu abayi-9 uthi khona ubulawayo uvumile. No, that's not it. Thank you.
I have lived in Bulawayo for over 40 years, and I was following debates about the situation regards water. I was following the developments of supply dams that supplied Bulawayo even before independence.
up until that power was taken away from city councils. Post-independence era, what we observed is that when Zino was created, the powers were taken from city council. And that has been a thorn in the face for the citizens of Bulawayo. Because then the pace of developing our dams in line with issues of supply and demand was taken away from us. Hence now we are saying Bulawayo continues to be a water crisis city because the powers to construct the dams has been taken away from us. I have, in the past 4 decades, never come across a single resident who has ever spoken or wanted to shoot down a project like an additional dam for Bulawayo. Because people have always understood that the Bulawayo has always had this water crisis. Coming to Gasbrook Dam, I would like to urge my co-councillors to also understand that unlike the rest of the other dams, Gasbrook Dam is going to be a super dam. Why do we say that? Most of these dams that we see in Bulawayo, they are located, for some of us and for those who know geography, most of these dams are located in what is called the upper course of the rivers. The river is the upper course, the middle course, and the lower course. And largely most of our dams are in the upper courses of the rivers, which means to say the inflows into those dams is very much unlike a dam that is located at the confluence of the river that comes from Inyankuni, the river that comes from Upper and Lower Nema, the river called Mzingwane, the river called this as a river. When they then meet, it's called the river's confluence. That's where Gasbrook Dam is located. I give this background for people to understand that even if you are in a region which is perennially challenged in terms of rainfall, that one is going to overfill even before the other rivers on the upper course of the water courses fill up. So let's not have negativity because it will be the most unfortunate way of representing the people of Bulawayo to want to shoot down a construction of a dam. Thank you.
I just urge councillors to keep their contributions as short as possible. And
it is well elucidated and expurgated here by Councillor Ndovu and geologist. Honestly speaking, Your Worship, this thing which is here, this document which is here, for example, I cannot check the population of Ward 9, which is 24,700 people, to fit the 200 water, and say this is their views. So what we are simply picking like is, those are samples. What is the general perception? And the acceptance. People of Lower are in a crisis. Anyone who talks about water, delivering water, is the Messiah in this city. There are people who are misleading people out there, that is dangerous. Because there shall come a time when history will judge us. This thing, it's good for the city of Bulawayo. Though certain people have decided to engage a political gear to shut down this thing by influencing residents, the wrong thing. If you have to see here, Your Worship, out of 29 wards, 3 only objected. So there is a general endorsement to this. The majority rules. So I don't know why we are still debating. I don't know why we are still debating on this thing. It has been endorsed. Let's move it.
Okay, Sila. Are you saying move? I want contributions. Please keep it short, Councillor Moyo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Worship. Personally, as a councillor who understood the project and the demand of the people of Bulawayo in terms of water, I understand the gap that Glasgow will cover, and in a context whereby the deliberations with the residents where the confusion was whether it is within us or within our decision to construct the dam, or our decision lies with either we allow the council to sign the agreement to buy water from the constructed dam. That's where the confusion was. But allow me, Your Worship, to stress this so that we don't become a council which just say move for the fun of it. Because we are supposed to be a responsive, transparent and accountable council. Not for this generation that we are leading, but for the future generation. We want to destroy this culture of thinking that things or decisions to do with fundamental issues like water, we can just do them overnight and feel free about them. Because we will be held accountable in the future. We consulted the residents, it's of effect. The majority in terms of the numbers, though they don't reflect the ones that we are representing, they say yes to a Glasgow. I'm genuinely in support of it because I understood it's not about the construction of the dam, it's about buying water from the constructed dam by whosoever. But if you go back to the clauses, your Worship, which I'm seeing here, they were not even part of the document which were presented in the to the residents. I'm seeing it now. I'm supporting this dam to be built. We don't have a problem. Actually, we don't have an input on it. I'm also genuinely supporting the council to sign the agreement to purchase this water. But these clauses were the fundamental questions which residents are worried about. We can be a dumb council if we just move things in the ignorance of even those who said no. We don't factor their views because it gives us as a council an ability and points to negotiate further with whosoever that we are negotiating on the fundamental items which were raised by residents. For example, this clause 12, we said the supplier use reasonable endeavors to monitor the quality of water supply. It's being agreed that the supplier will not guarantee the quality of water is supplied. I mean, you see these clauses. I don't know, maybe I'm not good in English or as a but those are very dangerous clauses in the document which are supposed to be interrogated. Also, I would like to bring to attention to this house to say, you see, this dam is cheap in terms of we will prefer to have water than to not have water, whether it's expensive or not. But there were no clear clauses to say we need to be mandatory to pay in USD or in RTGS, given the fact that the majority, even us council, pay our workers with RTGS. There was no specific about that. So, Your Worship, I don't want us to, I can't be part of the council where it ignores the negative side of the views of the residents pertaining this project. It's like when you are in an election and you have 2 million votes and someone has 2.1 votes and you ignore the one that has 2 million votes to say, because I won the election, so you don't make it. That's a crisis. We need also to factor in the negatives, which are very critical for our decision in making and our engagement process. No one is against a Glasgow. I think so. Yes. No one is against Bulawayo to have water. I think so. Yes. But the agreements, the clauses, the conditions, this is what ourselves and the management must be clear and articulate on. Are we going to be forced to pay bills whether water is supplied or not according to clauses? Because there are clauses which I'm seeing here.
Are you reading from the right document, Councillor?
Yes.
Which clause?
No, this is the paper that was...
The last recommendation.
The last recommendation.
No. Can we have one meeting, please?
Okay, so
just read it out, Councillor, so that we're with you.
I'm saying, there are clauses which I think this council.
They were removed.
Read the recommendation. Go to recommendation.
Councillor, just listen to me.
Can I
Please just listen to me,
Councillor.
Councillor, please listen to me.
Yes.
To proceed. Will you go to clause 12?
12.1. Yes.
And the resolution.
Must I read it out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you got the same one we have?
Yes. I read it though. The supplier shall use its reasonable endeavors to monitor the quality of water supply. It is being agreed that. It is being agreed that.
No, it's not written.
No, you're not reading
No,
out.
I'm reading.
No, you're not.
The recommendation.
Recommendation is not
Read the recommendation.
Read the
I
recommendation.
must not read the
Yes.
I must read the recommendation. Resolved to recommend.
Yes.
Resolved to recommend. By the way, we are not fighting this thing. We are in support of.
No, and you have the floor, Councillor.
That's why I'm
That
correcting.
the town clerk be granted authority to negotiate and sign the water paper on the understanding that inter alia the users or pay clause will be negotiated so that council only pay for water consumed.
Yes.
That is recommendation number 1. Sorry. The supplier can guarantee water quality to an acceptable standard of raw water.
Councillor,
I pray that you also govern a council which is sober in terms of this in making.
sorry,
Which basis?
can we please give him the floor?
We need to I told you in principle I'm in support of this deal. There's no way I can differ or whatsoever. But I'm saying the clauses which are critical to the residents, they were not clear to them from the word go. If I am lying, anyone can stand here and say I'm lying. Because those are the critical ones. We are moving that term without any question or any doubt or whatsoever.
Councillor, I need to wrap up this debate.
Yes, so I'm saying these negotiations that the town clerk must undergo,
Yes,
which is not yet an agreement.
yes.
These were recommendations which were not communicated to the residents. So my prayer and plea is, we are moving the term without any question. I doubt if there's no question. But these things, and maybe in the future, or even now, we ought to.
I will address that in my remarks, Councillor. Okay.
No, thank you so much, Your Worship. I think.
Madam, you have the floor. Please, this is a very important debate. I know Sapir is calling, but this is a critical debate. Ma'am, you have the floor.
I've got a little bit of information which I want to share with my colleagues here. There was a meeting which was held in the committee room on the 7th of January. When it was said by the director there in her report that the Nyamendo aquifers should be a little bit deepened. The councillors, some of, I can say all of them, my colleagues who were there, opposed that report, saying that they cannot the funds cannot be sourced to go and deepen Nyamendo, which was viewed as the director, it can be a short-term solution for the crisis amanzi Bulawayo. It was shut down. The reason you actually said we mustn't say things political here. And I heard people saying some of the things here are political. The reason for shooting down that deepening of Nyamendo aquifers was that they wanted to, excluding me, they wanted to make a name for themselves. They cannot go and use our funds who depend on of aquifers, doing that for somebody else. And that somebody else was, I was who was that somebody else. So we want funds which are going to have a source of water for Bulawayo, for us, meaning that it was political. And now numbers, you can say you invited so and so points. There is nothing of that sort, Your Worship. This diaspora thing is political because someone want to maintain a name here, neglecting our residents of Bulawayo alikhethayo ukuthi libuye khonapha libanengi majority. Abantu bakobulawayo bafuna amanzi kathesi iglass block leyo ayisozibisa amanzi kusasa.
Order. Please give her the floor. Councillors, give her the floor. Madam, carry on. You have the floor. This is a democratic institution. We listen to opposing views.
My point here is ukuthi akube le short term solution yamanzi koBulawayo.
Which is this? Which is this?
Which is depending those wells that what at Nyamendlovu. And futhi singabuyela kuhle ngolwazi esiluzileyo. Imgodiliyana, those balls were not signed by the government of Zimbabwe. They were signed by Isadaki. They were not amanzi, yeah. We were told here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Have you concluded?
I'm not through worship as long as you are protecting me. They are making noise.
As short as possible.
They are making noise. Somebody spoke for more than 5 minutes.
She cannot disown their report here. She is the member of Future World. It's a point of
This thing is political. This thing is political. I rest my case.
I think that we have one meeting. I think that we have canvassed this thoroughly. I want to make a variety of comments in conclusion. Madam, will you please respect the chair?
Others are talking. Why are you saying what?
I am surprised that this. Excuse me, Councillor. If you want to be removed, continue.
No, but you are not being fair.
So be respectful.
No, you are not being fair.
Councillor, I'm giving you one chance, otherwise you will be removed.
With everyone.
I am surprised that this has turned into a political issue. We need to consider facts, not partisan views. Fact number one is that the feasibility for this dam was first done in 1988. In 1988, this council was run by the unity government, which flowed from the December 1987 Unity Accord. Accordingly, when that feasibility study was done in 1988, it was a feasibility study done by a ZANU-PF council. That is a fact. Fact number two. In the 1990s, the chief engineer of this council was engineer George Imlilo. We all remember him. He ended up very senior in government. I recently happened to fly on the same flight as him from Johannesburg to Bulawayo. He had been in South Africa seeking medical treatment. And he told me, and my colleagues from ZANU-PF can confirm this with him, that when he was engineer in the 1990s, and they had the choice between Imchabez and glass block, his own preference was glass block. Because in his words, following on from what Councillor Ndlovu has said, it is a better dam. It is a bigger dam. It is easier to construct the pipeline from glass block to Imchabez. Fact number 3. In the last year, we, and in particular myself, have spent a lot of effort speaking to government, including regarding glass block. I have had a meeting with engineer Muguti, who is in the President's office, regarding glass block. In our meeting in December in Morocco, that engineer Ncube and the town clerk attended, where we promoted glass block, Dr. Andrew Vumbe from the Ministry of Finance was present in that meeting and gave government's unequivocal endorsement in a public meeting, an international meeting organized by the African Development Bank. He was supported by 2 members of ZIDA, the Zimbabwe Investment Development Agency, who did likewise, who unequivocally endorsed this project. This very resolution, if you read it, arises out of negotiations between the town clerk, engineer Ncube, and Zinwa, another government institution. It is Zinwa government who has asked us to enter into this agreement. In fact, the agreement is between our council and Zinwa. So it, with respect, boggles my mind that this becomes a partisan issue, because of the long history, and because clearly this is a national project which has got nothing to do. Madam, I have the floor, so please put your hand down. These are the concluding remarks. This is a national project in the national interest. Now, let me turn to some of the objections I mentioned earlier. Councillor Ndebele, I listened very closely to you. Those were valid objections. We understand the issue of water delivery. But the problem with water delivery, for the reasons that we've explained, is a massive project running into hundreds of millions of dollars worth that the council simply doesn't have at present. And so, as correct as your proposal is, it cannot be addressed. We need the raw water. We also need to do what you're doing, but this project is not funded by council. It is not reflected in our budget. There's international finance coming to a completely separate consortium recognized by government, so it does not affect our cash flow. And it's a critical issue. It does not even affect our residents for 4 years, because if you study the sheet that was circulated, you will see that the rates only go up in 4 years' time. There is a moratorium. So it doesn't affect our cash flow, our budget immediately, and it has very little impact for the next 4 years. May I turn to Madam, no, I'm not giving the floor to anyone, to Madam Councillor regarding Ndlovu. if you've attended any meetings that I've addressed, and I know that you have, I support Nyamandlovu. I would like us to investigate Nyamandlovu. But there are a variety of factors that make it very difficult for us. Number one is the factor that I mentioned earlier, the environmental factor. We do not have adequate science regarding the replenishment of Nyamandlovu. Number two is that we do not own Nyamandlovu. It's owned by Zinwe. We have no control over Nyamandlovu. It's a government issue. And if government wants to deepen the holes, wonderful. We will support that. Number three is that the issue similar to your point. We don't have the funding at present to do Nyamandlovu. So whilst these arguments are valid, they should never stand in the way of this dam. Let me conclude with these remarks. The last dam that was constructed in this city was in the 1990s. If you look at science, population growth, population forecasts, not just here, but throughout Africa, African cities are going to double in size by 2050. We need this dam, and finally we need also Gwai-Shangani, but we need both. Gwai-Shangani is not complete yet. It is going to take a lot of money, probably almost $1 billion, and we have to build this dam, and this dam only guarantees us water till 2040. If you study the recent feasibility, you will see it only takes us to 2040. After 2040, we need other sources of water. So it is simply, with respect to those who are opposed to this, foolhardy not to support this. And I now want us to vote, and this is a historical vote. I want us to raise our hands, those in support, those against, and those, so that we know who. So those in support, please raise your hand. Please record. Please record how many in support.
That's for the glass block.
No, you only have one vote. Thank you. Those who are against one.
No, we want to comment.
No,
We want to comment, sir. We have
you're
something
voting
to comment.
against. No, we debate
Just
is.
say something, please.
No.
So that
Do we only have one vote against? Those who are against.
I want to explain so that you from where you're seated, you don't understand what the
Madam
people
Councillor,
say.
please sit down.
From where you're seated, you don't understand what the people say. This is why I'm asking you, can I speak also?
We have had. We have.
Why would you allow
can't
me to
speak twice on the same item.
Yeah.
You have made this issue
What did the deputy mayor say?
you can't speak
What
twice on
did the
the same
deputy
issue.
mayor
Your
say?
Sit down, Councillor. Sit down. I want to know those who are opposed to this. Please put up your hand if you are
Then I want
opposed.
to comment.
No.
We're not allowed.
No.
No, I just wanted to raise what your people from
Are there no councillors opposed to this? Are there no? Are there no councillors opposed to this? Are there any who wish to abstain?
We want to comment.
We have passed that.
Right, we've passed it. Do we have notices of leave?
We want to speak and tell
Notices of leave?
No one's going.
Our meeting is concluded. Thank you. The luxury of that.
No, but
Did you listen to me? Did you listen to me? So where's the money going to come? Where's the 600
they are even
million?
willing to pay their money.
600 million.
Yes. How
600
many houses do we
million.
have? How many houses do we have?
800,000 residents.
How many houses do we have?
We must have 200,000.
Not 200,000, but $500,000. But $500,000. Why do you person is playing $1?
I know.
Just
we're supposed to respond to those councillors. We're putting it on political basis.
No one put it on political
basis. They said that we will commit meeting.